Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a listener on the podcast. I've been gone for a little while. Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm an intuitive marriage mentor, I'm a life coach, and a lover of all things self growth and a little bit of woo. Who are we kidding? A whole lot of woo. So I help married women find themselves again and bring more connection, fun, and passion back to their marriage. So, welcome. I'm so happy that you found me here. And yes, I'm actually going to be reading from a script today because I will get so off track that it won't be fun. I will lose myself, and you will click off, and that will be the end. So, I didn't think I'd have to put my readers on, but here we go. So, again, welcome. And I'm so happy that you are here. This episode feels really special because it's kind of a double moment for me. It's a welcome back to my podcast community. So, I have had a podcast now for almost 2 years. In April, it'll be 2 years. And I'm just so grateful. But I'm not consistent with it. So, I want to say hello. And if you are still here waiting, I am back and I'm grateful. And also, it's a bit of a welcome to my new YouTube because, yes, I'm finally doing the thing. This thing called YouTube and me getting in front of a camera is just definitely not my forte, but I understand the importance of it and I want to leave something behind. I really do wish that I could go back and watch videos of my mother, um, you know, just teaching what she believed in, sharing her experiences of her life and her stories. And um, cringy or not, I would absolutely binge watch it. So who knows? Maybe one day my kids or my grandkids will be binge watching me, right? Anyways, I'm grateful that you found me here. And if you have been around for a while, you know consistency and I have had an absolutely complicated relationship, but we are growing and we're evolving. And here we are again. So we'll give it a shot. So whether you're listening to this in your car, on a walk, folding laundry, or watching me nervously talk into a camera, hey, I'm so glad that you're here, truly. And honestly, I know I will get better as time goes on and I do this more, and that's okay. I'm just here to share my stories, share my quirkiness, and hopefully, you'll get a little bit of something out of it. Maybe it's relatable, maybe it's entertaining. Um, and I just hope that it's educational and valuable in some ways. So, anyways, a little life update from me, I guess, as my podcast community has been waiting, or since December 23rd, I think was the last time I posted an episode. And it has been a full and absolutely beautiful start to 2026. We welcomed a brand new grandson into the world, baby Lawson, and he is just absolute magic. Um, he arrived I believe it was, oh goodness, January 11th, which was incredible, beautiful. There's nothing like a new baby to remind you what really matters in life. And that's my baby boy's second baby. So, yeah, it's been pretty incredible. I've also been in I guess, nesting and creative season. Very much wintering actually. Um, For those of you who live in Canada, I live in Manitoba, which is kind of right smack in the middle of the prairies. And we have extremely cold winters, blistering winds, and I live out in the country. So, yes, wintering is a very good thing. We kind of go into hibernation. We still do have to function. We still do have to work. We still have to go shopping. Um, we still have to function, right? But I really take advantage of being able to winter and stay cozy and stay inside as much as I can, which sparks my creative. self. So I've been doing a lot of drawing and some painting and things like that. So that's been really fun. I've also painted our bedroom, which has been something I've been telling myself and my husband that I'm going to do for years, years. Funny story. We had this crazy, what I called vagina wallpaper in our bedroom. It was like black, back from like the 80s, maybe early 90s, I'm guessing. Um, it was awful, awful. Black wallpaper with these pink, I don't know, lilies, vaginas, and the whole wall was completely covered in them. And for years, I had to stare at them. It was so fun. And then this lovely border that went around the wall. And I promised my husband from the time I moved in that I would strip that wallpaper down and get rid of it and it would be gone. And a few years go by and we end up having to have that entire wall replaced. So, boom, gone. Didn't have to deal with it. But then the border was up for a few more years to come. So finally, finally, it was late last year. I got the border done and, everything else and got the walls prepped and stuff early this year. So I finally painted our bedroom. It's beautiful, nice dark blue. And now I am just kind of pulling everything else together. I refinished some furniture that's new to us. I stained it. So I needed another dresser with a couple of new end tables because I have far too many clothes. And one of our adult children moved back in, so the extra spare bedroom we had, which was basically another closet for me and a toy room for the grandkids, um, is now no longer accessible to my clothes and my things. So I need another dresser. But anyways, so I finally got that together, and now I'm just sort of pulling things together and looking for the perfect mirror. And I have some artwork and other mirrors that I want to, display and get that all funky. Anyways, I digress. So I've been coaching, I've been mentoring, I've also been creating art, and I may have set a slightly unhinged goal to create 12 pieces of art this year. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure what I was thinking because I've also set myself goals to read a certain amount of books, but so far I'm loving it. And I'm actually ahead of schedule. So we'll see how things are going. I've fallen in love with stipple art, which is like a tiny dot work, pointillism pointillism, I think I'm saying that correctly, and it's like meditation for my brain. I find it extremely soothing, um, to just sit and create art, and just the little dots, and I love the dot art with painting as well, but anyways, I've gotten into drawing, so, as I said, I do have everything scripted out here, like, I'm old school, so you're gonna hear paper rattling around and me bonking into the microphone, and I do apologize. I will try to edit those out. Um, and on the business side, I have officially launched my stand store, the Intuitive Marriage Method, which feels like a really big milestone, and it's been very exciting. I'm still building and I'm adding things as I go. But I'm very excited to be opening up my mentoring work to more women, to married women, while still honoring my goal of a calm, peaceful, and joyful life with time freedom, to do all of the things that I love to do and that fulfill me and that honestly keep me to my true self. At some point, I will share, sure I have over the years, well, the last couple of years in my podcast episodes, some of my career changes and some of the businesses and so called things I've been in, MLMs and whatnot. And I will do a deep dive into that at some point. Um, and now I do work that truly just fulfills me and keeps me to my true authentic self. And I just feel like I'm making an impact. And I'm a full time mentor to young adults. And I'm just very excited to be opening up this more to more married women. I've been doing it privately, with friends or family. Um, just a small circle around me over the last few years. But this is time. I feel like it's time to just get expanding and yeah, just help other women that may need to hear what I have to say or share my stories or hear what my experience has been. So, if you're new here, my work is really centered around married women who are mostly happy in their marriage, but somewhere along the way, maybe, you've lost a little bit of yourself. Um, you just don't feel like you have that spark anymore. The spark has dimmed. Maybe you've poured so much into being a partner, a mom, a caretaker, um, a doer of all things that your own needs and identity quietly have slipped to the bottom of the list. And you sort of just lost a little bit of who you are. Or maybe you've lost a lot of who you are. Or life has just become mundane and routine. And it's secure and it's predictable, which is, I think, are very wonderful things, actually. I like predictability in my marriage. But you just sort of, it's become stale and stagnant. Maybe communication feels a little bit more difficult between you and your husband. So why bother? Might turn into an argument or uncomfortableness. So then you just don't bother speaking your voice anymore. Maybe you never have. Maybe you want more connection. Maybe you want more fun. Maybe you'd like more depth in your relationship. And that's kind of where I come in. That's why I'm here, just to share what works for me, what I've created. Um, I help women reconnect with themselves so that they can show up more fully for themselves and in their marriage. And I created this for myself to keep myself in check. Fun fact, uh, my name Amanda actually means worthy of love in the dictionary. And I many times in my life I have not felt worthy of love, and I've always strived for that. And it's a self-worth, self-love thing, which I'm constantly working on. So I sort of created this foundational method for me to keep me in line so that I stay happy you know, um, and just that life feels good overall in general. This works with all kinds of relationships, not just with married or, in your marriage. It works in all sorts of situations where you're dealing with other humans, right? So, I mean, yeah, like I just help you to be able to communicate your needs with love and clarity and create a relationship that feels alive, supported, connected, very passionate. You know, that's why I did create the 12 foundations. So, I kind of went back and forth with a few, like what seemed to be the most important. And I sort of made them so that they can go step by step, but they all work within each other. So if you have an issue with finances, then you can kind of go right back to step one. Goes back to self-love, and then communication, and then expectations, and then accountability, and so forth. So I created what I call the intuitive marriage method. I'm very much an intuitive guide and just naturally intuitive. And my husband and I have always sort of joked around saying, like we finish each other's sentences and we know what to expect of each other. And often will be one of us will be thinking something and then the other will be like, we'll blurt it out. And it's like, what? Like, get out of my head. Like, how did you know that? And I believe that there is a lot of woo to that, but I also do believe that there's a lot of, you know, um, I've done the research and I've read a lot of books and stuff on intuition, but I don't have that in front of me to source at this moment. But, you know, you watch patterns and predictabilities and body language and just understanding and having really good, clear communication self-awareness. Um, you understand the expectations, so you almost can absolutely predict your partner's response to certain things. But then there is some things where we're just like, that that's crazy. How did you know that? And then there's other times we joke around about it because, I'll say something to my husband, he'll be, well, you're so intuitive. How come you couldn't read my mind? Or how come you didn't see that happening? Right. We just kind of have a laugh. But um, yeah, I just find I call it intuitive because I'm an intuitive and I find it's a method and it's 12 foundations. Um, and I honestly do feel that, when you have a marriage that's built around these 12 foundations, that there's it does help for your relationship to thrive. And I do believe that it's needed and even just the awareness of the 12 foundations. So I created these not just from training, my coaching, my training, mentoring over the years, experiences, but also from living it. And from relationships that taught me, what works and relationships that taught me what doesn't work within myself, within my partner, what I want, what I don't want, and what actually sustains love long term. So I also like to joke and say that, I always like to make sure that my husband remains happy with me and still likes me, wants to be married to me. It's a self check, right? Like, do I want to be married to me right now? Like, am I a fun person right now? Like, and so far it's working. It's working. And he agrees. He thinks that this is a great way of keeping yourself in check, and it starts with self-love and it goes, that's the number one. So in saying that, so number one foundation is self-love. Number two is communication. Number three is expectations. Number four is accountability. Five is boundaries. Six is fun. Seven is trust. Eight is energy. Nine is perspective. 10 is intimacy, 11 is intuition, and 12 is empathy. Now, you can work through them step by step, or you can focus on whichever areas need the most support. So it's flexible because real life is honestly, it's not just a one size fits all, right? Um, and there's different layers of all of these. Now, the marriage wheel, which is one of the tools I've also created, I find this to be very helpful. Is it will it's a simple but powerful way to look at your relationship as a whole. So I don't know if you've ever seen the wheel of life, that kind of pie shaped, circle. But mine is made out of 12 foundations, and you scale each one to 10 based on how they honestly feel right now in the moment in your marriage at this time. So, which it it gives you a really clear visual, um, like just a quick snapshot, basically, of what's thriving in your marriage and what might need some more TLC or some more attention at this time or more awareness, and I think it helps you in a really compassionate way. It I've also added some really deep reflection questions that guide you to get down really deep and honest and uncover some insights that you might not have seen before or even thought of. It helps you identify where your relationship could use a little more care and attention, in a very gentle and compassionate way. So, also in saying that, if you'd like a free copy of my marriage wheel, you can grab it in the link in my bio. It's in my stand store. And if you want a little bit of extra support, currently I'm also offering a complimentary 30-minute insight session just so that you get a chance to go over the marriage wheel. Maybe, if you've uncovered some things that you're not sure, if it doesn't make sense or you'd like some insight and direction, be more than happy to hold the space. Um, there's no strings attached. I honestly am just doing this because I just feel it's very important to get some clarity. And and I just think that it's the marriage wheel is such a beautiful starting point just to kind of see. Sometimes we think, ooh, like, I've had couples where they get their husbands to do it as well, and they're like, ooh, that's a little different than what I thought. And it's a great way to open the door to have some conversation about, some things, right? If you want to get make some changes or for the better, of course, right? So, um, sorry, I think I hit that mic again. Now, you'll also hear me talk a little bit more about intuition moving forward, my podcast listeners. I have done some oracle card readings on my podcast, and I really want to start doing that more and more. I find some of the readings I've been doing lately have been really profound and really resonate with the people that I read for. We can talk about more energy and all the slightly woo things that I absolutely love, crystals and meditations and things like that, manifestation. Love all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so that's sort of what I want. I like having this little channel myself and, my own, that didn't make any sense. Having my own channel, I guess, to kind of express myself and hopefully bring value. As a business owner, it's not easy getting started. It takes a long time, and I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. And I'm here for a long time. And I've loved YouTube forever since I can remember. I can't even remember when it was first started, but that's my TV. I love YouTube, and I connect with the content creators on YouTube that I like to follow anyways. And I just wanted to be a little part of it, have my little corner of the world on YouTube and podcasting. I clean my house, I cook, I do the dishes, I do a lot of things listening to podcasts and watching YouTube. So I just wanted to be part of it. So thank you for being here and finding me. And please share if you do find this valuable, if you want to, catch more of what I've got to ramble on and talk about. So it could be interesting. I have no idea. It could be a hot mess, but you can stay tuned for the show. um, I really do truly believe that a big part of a healthy marriage is um, having a healthy connection to yourself. And I do believe that intuition is a part of it. I believe we are all very intuitive. Not all of us know how to tap into that or understand it or think that we are, but we really are. And it's often just getting quiet and be bored. And part of that is staying off your devices and getting off your phone. And I'm working on that. I'm always working on that. Um, I have stayed off my phone a lot and just get quiet. I've been reading more, learning, meditating, and just doing some creative activities that make me feel good and help my brain. So please do expect some more conversations around tuning into your inner voice, trusting yourself, and bringing more awareness into your relationships and your life. Because I'm very passionate about that. And and I'll be honest, putting myself out here like this still really makes me nervous. I've dealt with imposter syndrome, fear of being seen, you name it. I was a competitive figure skater, international figure skater for many years and like about 12 years. And everything was a performance. And I did modeling, and everything was a performance. And I enjoy singing. I love singing. My husband and I do that a lot for fun. We are karaoke singers. And again, it's performing. And I don't want to feel like I have to perform here. I just want to be real, wear my readers and look silly. My room's a hot mess, but that's okay. This is me, and I'm not for everybody, but the people that I am here for. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that we can connect. So Um, and there's just so much AI. And can I talk about that? I mean, I love AI. God, I have all these AI pictures and stuff. I love it. I think it's fun. But I also am terrified because I don't do TikTok. I'm really considering not doing Instagram. Or, I mean, I don't really do much with it anyways. Facebook, I believe it's okay to connect, but there again, it's just more of a, hey, this is what I'm doing and kind of thing. And I do have connections there. But more and more, I don't know what to believe anymore when I see it. And there's so much AI and so much fakeness out there that I just wanted to kind of show up and be real. And and just let others know that give you permission to just do the same. It's you're never too old to start something new. Um, this new business of mine has been just kind of an expensive hobby for the last little while, but I've always known that this is what I meant to do. I'm in the process of writing my book, and and it's exciting. I just want to leave something behind. I've experienced a lot, went through a lot, and I've had so many great experiences that just want to share. Leave it behind. So, if this space can feel warm and supportive and honest, then it's worth me just being uncomfortable and finally putting myself out there. So here I am. Now, my intention for this year of 2026, depending on when you're listening to this, is to show up more consistently because consistency and me are not friends. We're trying. We have lots of conversations together about our expectations and about accountability. So we're working on it. But I do want to show up more consistently for you and for myself. It's more for myself. Well, that sounds rude and self-centered, but it is ultimately it's for myself because if nobody ever listens, it doesn't really matter. I'm just doing this for me, just to get out there, just to put my voice out there. Um, I want to share more tools, resources, things I've learned. I want to have more conversations. I want more real life reflections about marriage and the truth, self growth, and connection. I would love to have interviews with women, married women. What's working, what's not, what have you done? People I've worked with. Um, and if you're someone who wants a marriage that feels deeper, lighter, more fun, more aligned, can joke about the stuff, welcome. You're in the right place. Um, I think we'll have a lot of fun here, and thank you for being here. You know, whether you listened since the beginning of my podcast, or you've just found me today, I absolutely do not take your time or attention lightly in any shape or form. Um, I understand. We are all busy and we all come on usually YouTube to check out something that we're going to learn from or be interesting and that's all I want to create is just real stuff and hopefully maybe entertain you. We'll see. Let me know what you would like to see or hear. I do oracle card readings, talk about more intuition, manifesting, law of attraction. I love all that kind of stuff too. So if this episode resonated with you, please, you can hit the follow button on the podcast or hit the subscribe button. I'm very new getting started on my YouTube channel. For the podcast and YouTube, please leave a review or share it with someone that you know that you feel you might need it. That doesn't make sense. Um, sh- Share it with someone that you feel might get value from it, I guess. Not need it. Who needs this, right? It does truly help my little show, though. It does help it reach more people. So, and fun fact my little show, my podcast, The Intuitive Marriage Method, is in 47 countries. 47 countries and 215 cities across the world, you guys. Blows my mind. So thank you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. And if you want to explore the marriage wheel or you want to learn more about working together, please check out my link in the description. Um, check out my stand store. I have a couple of freebies there. And I'm very excited for this next chapter. And I'm really grateful that you're here for it. So, um, with love and intuition, bye for now.